Looking for your dream home in Spain? Costa Blanca offers stunning beaches, year-round sunshine, and a vibrant lifestyle, perfect for your next home or investment. Whether you're buying a seaside villa, a cozy apartment, or a luxury property, Welcome Estates is here to guide you every step of the way. Our team of experts makes the process simple and stress-free, from finding the perfect property to handling all the paperwork. Ready to make Costa Blanca your home? Contact Welcome Estates today at welcome-estates.com and let's make your dream a reality.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Welcome to the Sun. This is episode 3 now of our online podcast. And as always, I'm joined by the CEO of Welcome Estates, our fabulous Lisa Crabtree. How are you, Lisa?
I'm very good. How are you, Ake?
I'm all right, thanks. We're used to seeing the Three Musketeers,
I know,
but it's just going to be the
alone.
dynamic duo today because Colin's not with us, is he?
No, that sounded really bad. He's just in Portugal.
Yeah. He's just in Portugal. He's
just in
absolutely
Portugal.
fine.
Yeah, he's absolutely fine.
But you know what? It brings up a good issue here because Colin's just nipped into Portugal. So how actually, how easy is it to get from places like La Finca and the Costa Blanca in general and nip over for a nice little trip to Portugal?
Yeah, you can drive to so many more places here. We did Portugal during the COVID time because the borders were still open and we could get to Portugal. And we actually met my sisters and mum and dad in Portugal. So we've done that drive. It's a long drive, but it's about 9-10 hours, I would say. But there's lots to do en route. And I think Debs and Colin have done like a stopover so that they're seeing different places in Spain along the way.
Yeah, and I suppose this brings up the issue of the whole soft borders, of the Schengen area, because again, another plus point to buying in Spain, La Finca, Costa Blanca, is the soft borders, isn't it?
Yeah. It was like a complete. It was like a complete anticlimax for us when we went to Portugal because we was. I don't know what we was expecting, but you just drive through it and that's it. You're in Portugal. There's nothing. You just literally drive through a barrier and you're in. No showing passports, GIEs, nothing. You just drive straight through.
Yeah, and it looks like that's going to continue at the minute. So lots of opportunities there. But the driving rules, you see, I do get a bit confused when I drive on the right. But as you know, speaking to yourself, Carl, everyone else who lives out there, it's actually quite easy once you get used to it, isn't it?
Yeah, driving's easy. We're going. I think I mentioned last time that when I go back on my own, I drive in the UK, and I find it a bit more daunting than I used to. We're going back for a week next week and traveling all around the UK. But Carl will be doing the driving there, not me. In Spain, it's really, really easy. I was thinking about it the other day after our podcast. I think I was driving up to Torrevieja, and the roads are just so clear.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's kind of interesting. When I come and visit, we always end up on a day trip somewhere. There's something's always arranged. So give us some of your ideal day trip. Let's say someone buys in La Finca. Let's just say, where are the prime places for a day trip?
You've got your usual holiday places. So I think within 20 minutes from where we are at La Finca, there's 3 different water parks. There's so you could go up to Benidorm. There's a big theme park there. There's a water park there. There's a zoo there. There's a zoo in Murcia as well, which is really good. We did that on the way back from where did we go we went on, I think we went to Tarragona or something like that on holiday for something else that we did last year. We actually don't go on the plane much for our holidays now unless we're going back to the UK. We drive. So we're just talking about soft borders. We drove to Tarragona. That's got some amazing theme parks in Tarragona. Which our kids absolutely loved them. We'll have to show you some videos sometime. We went on the Ferrari. It's like a Ferrari roller coaster. It's the fastest thing that I've ever been on in my life.
I bet the boys love that.
Oh, Tommy. Charlie was too little. Tommy absolutely loved it. And they have a water park there as well. The year before, we drove all the way to Paris and went to Disneyland and met my family who flew over and we drove. But again, it was more like a road trip. Lots of people drive from the UK over to Spain via France. to, especially when they're driving over with furniture or dogs, the big one, dogs, people who have got pets, people who are always driving over.
Yeah, and you know, we're talking about cars here, and I'm assuming you're going to need a car if you make the move or you buy a holiday home. You know, it's probably the best way to get around. Is that side of things easy? I know it's probably a simple question here, but just give us the parameters. Is it an easy transaction?
Yeah, easy. I find the car one interesting because lots of people say to me, I want to buy somewhere where I don't need a car. I'm like, right, okay, let's talk about that a little bit. So we don't need a car in this day and age. I understand that for a holiday, if you're there for a few days and you want to be able to walk to restaurants, I understand that, or you want to walk to a beach or something. But if you're here for longer than just a few days holiday, my example always is, how often, Ake, do you drive to Tesco and do your family shop and walk home with 20 plastic carrier bags?
Now, I must admit, sometimes when I have the full intention of not using the car, I end up using the car anyway, just for convenience. I mean, I'm not a cycler myself, but I do see a lot of cyclists in La Finca. So, you know, it's a great place to cycle, but practicality-wise, you are probably going to need to drive at some point.
You do. And Spain is very vast. That's the difference as well. It's a big country. And even though it's quicker to get to places because there's no traffic, the distance you need to go is longer because it's such a big place. I can get somewhere in 20 minutes. It took me that long to get down the local street or to the local area when I was back in Manchester. But if you want to go to the supermarkets, it might be a 8-minute drive from where I am, or if you've got to go to the gym, there's lots of gyms about, but not everything can be walkable. So back to the original question, getting a car, it depends on how you want to do it. Some people rent, but if you've got a holiday home or you're coming over to move, the best thing to do is get a little run around, and that's what lots of people do. It doesn't matter if you're a resident or a non-resident. Again, back to that NIE number that you will have anyway because you've purchased a property over here. Just need an NIE number and then you can get a car.
Okay, sounds good to me. There's loads coming up actually. We've got some good video clips coming up of some properties we've toured. We're gonna do a little visit back to the Noaks family, who were a great family that we visited, bought a few. It's changed their life moving out to Spain. But before we do that, I want to ask you about hidden gems of the Costa Blanca, right? So, you know, you're somebody who's you know, explored the area, let's say, you know. Favorite beaches, favorite hiking spots, you know, give us a little bit more of a flavor of that side of things, what people can expect other than just the restaurants and bars and stuff.
Okay. Hiking, not really me. Beaches, I can tell you lots about them. Maybe not hiking, but there's lots of areas for hiking because there's lots of areas that's quite hilly. So for example, around us in like La Finca and Benihoffer, there's lots of mountain trails that apparently are really good to walk up. But beaches, it depends. We are literally, from where we are in this area, we're about between 10 and 15 minutes drive to the coast. And then when you're at the coast, there is beach upon beach upon beach. So probably the closest to us is Guadamar, which is a nice beach, quite a Spanish area, but it's still a lovely beach. I like Lasagna Beach, to be honest. I don't know why, but I only like it off season. I don't like it in July and August because it's really, really busy. I think we did a video at Lasagna Beach.
We did, and it was great actually. It was in fact, that video was on the YouTube channel, right? Yeah. So people need to, you know, go and have a check on the YouTube channel because all these videos that we're talking about are on there. Mm-hmm. It was a big beach, very clean. It had a lovely little restaurant cafe by the side of it, and loads of parking nearby as well, which I was surprised by. Yeah.
That's why if you go any month but July and August, like anything, it's just so busy and difficult to park.
I believe people spend Christmas on that beach, right?
I still haven't done it, you know, and I keep saying I don't know why beach and Christmas just don't seem to fit for me. I'm still probably a Christmas dinner at home type person. But the videos that I see for Lasagna Beach is unbelievable. It is literally packed. They have music, they have bands, everyone's dressed up in either Christmas outfits. Christmas Day is supposed to be pretty special there.
Well, look, guys, like I say, if you want to actually see what we're talking about, go and check out the YouTube channel. And one thing I will say, just from having visited La Finca myself, you're spoiled for restaurants. I mean, if you are a foodie, Spain in general, but, you know, any of the areas where Welcome Estates service in terms of selling properties, you're absolutely spoilt from choice. And it's not just Spanish food. We were at a Japanese restaurant, weren't we? And we've been to Chinese. We've been for, your dad took us out for a curry. There's everything there, and it's great.
Yeah, you're not in short supply, and the traditional Spanish tapas, which is a great way to eat in Spain. There's so many food restaurants, and every little area has their own amount of bars and restaurants, and you can nip into one. Like I might go to Casada one night, I might go to Benihoffer the other night, and we might go down to Lasagna. There's like one of those, I don't think you've been there, but there's one of those all you can eat like Italian type buffets that the boys absolutely love. So we go up there. There's whatever you like, it's here.
Well, I'll put that down for May because I'm visiting again in May, so that's on the list now. I mentioned earlier the Noaks family. Now, I absolutely loved visiting, the house that they bought there, villa as we'd call it, with yourself and with Colin and with Chris, and we did a video there, and it's become really popular. This video on the YouTube, it's had thousands of views.
Yeah, it went absolutely mad. This video.
Yeah, well, I think it's because it was real life, wasn't it? It was a real life experience of the Noaks family. They'd moved out there, and they were very keen to tell us about the change in their lives. So let's have a little look at this clip.
Natalie, let's go in and see him. Let's do it. Well, I'm delighted to be here with Wayne and Natalie Noaks at their dream holiday home here in Casada. And the first thing I want to ask you is, where did this dream begin?
So we're from the New Forest near Southampton. We're sort of semi-retired. We run a haulage company.
One of us is.
But we've always wanted a place in the sun, play a bit of golf, just to relax, enjoy the sun, get away from the rain.
I think we have been very fortunate that we are now in a position where we were able to start looking to buy a property. Things have gone well with the business, so we started looking. We started coming on holiday with a few friends of ours to Spain and thought that we'd give it a go. So last year we thought we'd come out. We came for actually a fortnight in total. Had our youngest daughter with us, who was 20 last year when she came out. And we sort of wandered around and thought maybe we might rent for a year if we couldn't find anywhere. But then we sort of signed up to come and see Colin after we packed our daughter back on a flight, and started looking that day. And fortunately, Colin came up trumps.
Colin's worth the trip alone, I think.
Actually, yeah.
I mean, this property, Lisa, that they've got here is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Yeah.
That's La Marquesa. So that's part of Casada. It's a great property. It's a big property as well. The underbuild downstairs, if you remember, it's the perfect place to pop your guests when you want them to not really be there, really, and then put them underneath. But it follows on really nicely, this, because we met obviously the days last week on video. Funny story. Do you know, like we had technical issues last week? Do you know what actually happened?
What happened?
They were sat on the terrace, and because of the sun, the laptop overheated.
Ah, that would explain it. And you're just rubbing it in now, aren't you, that the sun was that hot? That is a low blow, that, really.
Couldn't make that up, really, though, could you?
Well, as you see there, guys, on screen, you've got the property that we toured with the Noakses. Again, this video is on the YouTube channel. And also, you can get to the YouTube channel through the website as well, www.welcome-estates.com. And it kind of brings us on nicely to the next little bit. Whilst this video is playing, this property, you know, the Noakses were planning on renting for a year, seeing how it went, but they took the plunge and bought. And it turns out it was a fantastic buy because, you know, without telling us what they paid for the property, could you tell us how much the property would have gone up in value from when they bought it to now? Yeah.
So when they came out to buy, Colin had a number of properties lined up for them to see. Where now product is really limited, so it's not as easy to come out and have 9-10 properties within your search criteria to be viewing. And I think that shortage of supply has made a massive difference with the prices over here. That property itself would have increased around 10-15%.
Fantastic. In the space of how long?
In the last 18 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so that is a good return on your money. And in fact, that is a better return on your money than you're going to get in some parts of England, isn't it?
Yeah. At the moment, when it comes to, I think we're going to look at another apartment in a minute that me and you looked around, and I'll tell you the prices of them. It was a second-hand property, but it was a new style. It wasn't very old, but the actual new developments at this moment in time, because there's such a wait for them, maybe 12, 18 months. So if somebody reserves one today, say at 200,000 in phase 3, maybe. In between theirs being built, phase 4 would have come out and phase 5 would have come out. And in the past couple of years, every time they bring another phase out, we're seeing at least a 5-10% increase for the same property. So the people who reserved last year for this year, at the point when they have got their keys, the property value has already gone up.
Yeah, they've made equity. Yeah.
That's straight away.
Very good. Because I know it's not specifically a financial investment where people are looking at when they're looking at moving to Spain or buying a holiday home, but the reality is it is also a good investment.
It is a good investment. It's a sound investment. There is no indication that the market's going to do any different. The rest of the world it's happening to as well. There's no reason to think it's going to change at any point. More than investment financially, the thing that we're seeing more is things becoming unaffordable for people. I think we may have touched on it on a previous podcast, but we have people on our database who have been on there for 2-3 years, and they may have had 150,000 euros, for example, and at one point that could have bought them a nice 2-bedroom new build apartment on La Finca. During the 2020, they were selling at around the 150, 160 mark. Now they're up at 250.
Yeah.
So that is 5 years later. So it's not a sudden increase. It's been going on gradually for the past 5 years.
Well, the math doesn't lie, does it? So, it's something to think about, certainly. And this is the property you were talking about. This was a gorgeous apartment style property, a 2-bedroom ground floor apartment that we saw. And it was on the more reasonable end. Let's just have a quick look at this.
So this one's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom new build property priced at 230,000 euros.
I've been and had a look already. It's fantastic. So let's go and see. So for 230,000 euros, you can get something like this. And the first thing I noticed, a really private, really peaceful area.
Yeah, so it's a gated community. About 40 different properties on here. The communal pool has community fees, but they're about 50 euros a month on here. So that's 600 euros a year. But with that, you've got peace of mind if you're locking up and leaving, like lots of people with holiday homes. The area itself is very, very safe, but at the same time, you've got that extra bonus of it being a gated community where people like the idea of.
Yeah, and also this is one of those properties that is run all from smart apps. So you can actually do that. It gives people peace of mind if they're away and they forgot to turn the lights off or something like that.
Yeah, all connected with a system. They've got a screen over there. And like you say, all connected to one system. There's a panel on the wall there and you can change your lights, switch them off, take them off, put the heating on, whatever you want to do, but from whichever country you've left Spain to go back to.
I've got to say my favourite part of this apartment is just through there. Let's go and have a little look at this. Is it almost like, would you call it a conservatory?
Yeah, well, it was a terrace. So here you've got the living room, kitchen, which is open plan living. Remember, you spend most of your time outside. So this is the outside terrace, but the person who is buying this one has decided to make it into a little bit like an outside room. So they put a glass sleeve on it. We've then got this extra room outside and in.
Loads of natural light coming in. You've got these fantastic sliding doors come windows. And what a great place to chill in the evening.
Yeah. What you've got to remember in Spain is most of it is outside living. So these can be opened up in the summer and you've still got your terrace and your garden, or if it gets a bit chillier in the winter, still a lovely place to sit, have a glass of wine and close them up. And then outside, the person buying this one has decided for a bit of extra luxury in the garden.
Does this come with the property, the jacuzzi?
No, it doesn't.
that's
But
a
it's
shame.
always an option.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, I remember that property well. It's a lovely property, and we mentioned there the list price around 230 to 240 was getting you something like that. Now, if we was to visit that same property now, how much would that property be worth?
Okay. It's difficult because this was a resale property. So this one was furnished. So it's got furniture, it's got air conditioning, it's got lighting. So if you buy it off plan, those things are not included. So to give you a comparison, to buy that apartment, which they're still building in this area, off plan at the moment, you're looking between 250 and 260, and that is pre-furniture, lighting or air conditioning. So those together are worth around depends on to what level furniture you buy, but maybe 15,000-20,000 to furnish an apartment and to do the light and the aircon. So that takes it up to about 250, about 280. If we was listing a property like that at the moment, we probably would list it around the 260 mark.
Okay, so again, you're seeing that your money is safe, and you've made a little bit as well. You've made a little bit of equity, and that again, you know, because people do worry about that. And
Just
really,
to note, we only filmed that last year, so that one is still it's going up. But it's not as extreme as, say, the ones that was 5 years ago. So it's not a case of the going up every single day. That may have been about 6 months ago, I think it was, when we filmed that. It was only on one of the recent visits over. So it definitely has gone up. And the difference is the speed they're selling as well. Like literally they're coming on the market and they're going within weeks.
but I suppose it does reinforce the idea, Lisa, that if you're deliberating, that deliberation could cost you money, really, couldn't it? In real terms,
it could do. Like I say, it's just it can. We've all got. I don't like the word budget, but we've all got an amount of money that we want or can spend on a second property. And what we find hard is people who it's gone beyond what they can now afford. But if they would have done it 12 months ago, then they could have got exactly what they wanted. And now they're having to make compromises that they didn't really want to. But if they don't make them compromises and get something now, 12 months from now, those compromises are going to be even higher.
well, I've got some good news for those people, because as always, every week we do a property of the week. Okay, so we've got one here which does provide that type of value. This is 240,000 euros. It's 2 beds, it's 2 baths, sea views and rooftop luxury. And tell us about this one, Lisa.
Okay, this is a unique one. And the reason why I chose this is because it came up on the podcast last week. So this is very different, this concept. This particular listing is not residential. This is the one that we talked about last week that actually comes with its own tourist license. And that's why it's pretty unique. There's only about 3 developments in the whole of Costa Blanca and in Murcia that are doing this. And that's because it's more difficult to get that tourist license on an individual property. They are now creating these complexes where you could go and buy this tomorrow. You as an individual can stay there for between, I think, depending on the development, around 4 to 6 weeks a year. So you can holiday there, but then the rest of the year it's rented out. So it's rented out, and because it's got a tourist license, it's got its own reception there, it's got its own management company who deal with it all for you. The builder here is a really good builder and the finish is brilliant on them, but there is an option to buy a similar apartment that isn't the tourist, which is residential, and that one's got a slightly higher spec. And that would make sense in the sense that if you're living there or you're renting it out, is it a business or are you going to live there? That's the key difference between them. But in El Raso, which this complex is, it's very close to Guadamar Beach. So it's only about 5 minutes away from the beach. It's got a great commercial centre in El Raso that's got loads of bars and restaurants again. We used to go up there to somewhere called Stan and Ollie's because they had a really good Sunday dinner. So we used to drive there just for that, really. From where I live, it's probably about a 10-minute drive, if that.
Okay, well, this I mean, it looks gorgeous. And just to add, with a property like this, well, this particular property, I mentioned the rooftop look with fantastic views and a great space up there. You get the rooftop pool, you get a gym, which is, I'm assuming, a communal gym for residents, spa, underground parking, and it's 5 minutes from the beach. It really is a perfect holiday home or an investment, isn't it?
Yeah. This one is an investment, but there is a similar one for residential. But this is for people out there who still are thinking about investing to rent out in Spain. You can invest your money, you can get an income from rentals, and you've got somewhere yourself to go on holiday for 5-6 weeks a year. Yeah.
Using the visa process, which we talked last time, and making sure you stay within your parameters. This is ideal.
Yeah. So it doesn't need a visa. So because you're coming on holiday, it's about the 90-day rule. So a visa is only really if you're coming here to live, where anybody can come to Spain within that 90 days limit.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So if you're interested in this property, either get in contact with Lisa directly, go get in contact with someone on the Instagram, the Welcome Estates Instagram, or to find out more about the property, visit welcome-estates.com. Or you can even look at the link under this video. So we're giving you plenty of ways to contact Welcome Estates there, but you'll see a lot more properties like this as well from talking.
As you can imagine, these are selling, people are buying them, investors, 5-6 apartments at a go. So they won't be around for long.
I'm just going to take a swig of my, look, you can tell summer's about to come around the corner here, because this is the new cups we've got in.
Oh, the sun, that it makes such a difference. We've had quite a wet March, which is good because we need the rain. So it's been quite wet, but the sun's out now. We've had our first barbecue of 2025 on Saturday.
Nice. Well, keep that barbecue ready for when we come and visit.
Everyone's come in the office this morning with the red bird. We always get caught out, even though we live here. Everyone's come in with dodgy tan lines today.
I bet. I've seen a few dodgy tan lines over there, I must admit. You know what we should do? We should bust some myths. Should we bust some myths?
Yeah, I enjoyed this last week.
I mean, yeah, sometimes the question. Now, here we go. Mythbuster. So this is this was one of the comments. Did you hear that sound effect? I'll tell you something. We're cooking on gas here, aren't we? So Mythbusters. This was from a comment on the YouTube. So don't bother with even trying to get residency. Just say you work from your laptop and get a digital nomad visa. Simple. What do you think? Is that a myth?
I'd have to go myth with that.
Okay, myth.
I'm waiting for his bit. I'm waiting for the buzzer. Yeah, okay. The reason why I'm saying that is the digital nomad visa is great. And it's a visa that's come out more recently. It wasn't one of the original visas, and it is there, and people are applying and people are getting it. But you can't just say that you work from your laptop at home. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. You have to be employed by a company in the UK who give you permission to work in Spain. So you have to prove that you can't just say, oh, I work from my laptop at home. It doesn't work like that. You'd have to prove that you earn money outside of Spain, and your job allows you to work in Spain for a UK company. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you. And good on the sound effects in the background, Chris. Right. Next one. Buying a property in Spain is risky as it's not regulated. I know which sound effect we need
here. Spain is as safe to buy a property as anywhere else. If you buy a new build, they have to be rather bank guaranteed, or they have to have systems in place to protect any money that you put down. Resales, as long as you have, like we've mentioned before, just like you would do in England, and it's no different. You get your solicitor who will go through the normal process of conveyancing to check the property and make sure that it's legal. If for any reason there is anything not legal about it, then you wouldn't buy that property, and any money that you put down, you would get refunded. And the only real way that you get things that are illegal in Spain is when you're looking at like Finca properties. I think we've mentioned the word Finca before, and they're more properties that are in the mists of what we would call Spanish countryside. So they're older properties that may have been built pre-regulations of some sort, and it makes it more technical. Actually, Spain have a really thorough conveyancing process to make sure that the property is completely legal before you buy it.
All right, fantastic. Next one. Oh, that might have been the end of the myth busting. I love the sound effect anyway. We're gonna. Chris is having too much fun behind the scenes with that buzzer. Right, next up, another segment that I like, because we do get things flying in on the YouTube, as we've just seen with the Mythbusters, and these are viewers' questions. So this one comes from @Kistmacher1, and this was a comment on the Cabaroy YouTube video, which is on the channel. Not my cup of tea. Can't walk anywhere. Always need a car. Cabaroy is like being on a motorway. What would you say to that? It's not really a question, it's more of a statement. How would you respond to that?
It's like we said last week. What I like might be different to what you like, to what Chris likes, which everyone is completely different. Cabaroy is super popular. It is one of the most popular areas to buy a holiday home. I don't know if you know, but it's got one of the biggest parades in Europe for Paddy's Day. It has loads of bars, Irish bars and restaurants. So it has a really strong Irish community in Cabaroy. Would I like to live there personally? No. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't, because I'm not on holiday. I'm not here on holiday, so I don't want to live in a holiday resort. But some people really like it. Can't walk anywhere. I would say the Oriel Costa has the end. It's like a road, the N332. It's right near our office. So there is a road that goes from coast, and there's a road, and then you have more Cabaroy. But it's one road, and you go across it on a bridge, and you're on the beach. So I definitely would not say it's like being on a motorway. And there's and like I say, people love it. Really love Cabaroy. It's really popular.
Well, I did actually love it, and I would love to live there, because
you went to Cabaroy.
every day's a party when you're with me. So
yeah,
it's fine.
I mean, Cabaroy Strip is one of the busiest areas for younger people and bars. And I say younger people because I think I'm too old for it now.
I think I am as well, but let's just keep that one to ourselves.
Yeah. But when for example, my sister has a apartment, a holiday home in Torrevieja. Again, brilliant for them. Close to the beach, near bars and restaurants, and it's great for them because they come here on holiday. And my little niece, I think you may have heard her sing. She really enjoys singing. So they're always at Cabaroy, because there's lots of karaoke bars and you can get up and sing. So if that's what you're looking for, it's brilliant.
Fantastic. All right, next question from a viewer. This was a comment on our Instagram. As a resident or holiday homeowner in Spain, would it be better all round if I owned a Spanish bank account, or just use my own UK account for everything? That's a good question.
Spanish account, definitely.
Spanish account. Okay.
When you're always advised, when you buy a property, you have to get an NIE number, which is compulsory, and you're always advised to get a Spanish bank account. And to pay your utilities and your bills. Some people have started using things like Wise, etc., to set things up, because they have a Spanish IBAN number as well. But UK account, no, you don't want to be paying transfer fees and using the bank's exchange rate, because it does make, when you buy a property, it's not something we've covered yet, and it's something we'll cover on another show, but we always say to people, you don't transfer your funds directly from the UK to Spain. Always use a middleman, always use a currency exchange company, because you will get more value for money.
Okay, good question, that, because I would have actually thought I could have used an English bank. So really good question there from Amanda. Next up, we've got Lyndon McCarthy comment who commented on YouTube, how much money do I need to put aside apart from the property price to make sure everything is covered prior to the move, so can close the deal?
Okay. We always advise that on top of the property price, so the price that you see advertised, you always need to add around 15%. Okay. That can differ from region to region. It can also differ on property price, but the average is around 15%. If anything, it'll be lower. So we always say if you estimate around 15%. So if you're buying in the Alicante area, just to break that 15% down, there's always 10% tax on a property. So if you're buying something for 100,000, there'd be 10,000 euros would be tax. The rest of the money is for your solicitors, it's for your checks, it's for your notary. If you're buying a new build property, there's stamp duty as well. So 1.5%. So new builds are slightly more than a resale property because you don't pay stamp duty on a resale property. But we say around 15%. So if you are buying something at 100, plan for about 115, 200, plan for about, my maths will get rubbish in a minute, about 230. I'm going to stop there before I get it wrong, and so on and so on. But the good thing at the moment is the exchange rate is good. So about if you was, what I'm saying to people at the moment is if you see something at 100,000 euros with the exchange rate, once you change your 100,000 pounds sterling, you're about right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, good point. Good question there from Linda MacArthur. We've got Gemma Gordon here, which was an email inquiry. What's the process from start to finish when buying? Do you, for instance, supply a checklist, an order to follow to ensure a buyer has covered everything?
If I did it, I did a checklist that just said contact Welcome Estates, we'll do everything else.
Because you'll do everything for them, right?
Do you know what? Sometimes we can overcomplicate things, and that's what we say to people. Is buying a property in Spain really a checklist exercise? Probably not. It isn't as complicated as you would think. First stage is one, making sure you've got the funds to do it. And I know that seems silly, but you couldn't walk into a Ferrari showroom and not be able to purchase unless the funds are there. It's really important that the funds are available pre-looking, because things change so quickly over here. So once you've got the funds in place, we've said this before, give us the brief of what you're looking for, what type of area. For example, are you looking for a cabaret type area? Are you looking for a quieter area, more residential? Feed us that information and then we can help with the rest. There isn't massive things to do. Once you've found the property, you then go into the purchase process, which again, we can guide you through. But there's not massive amounts to do pre-coming over and purchasing.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gemma, for your email inquiry. Do we have any more? Yes, we have Chio Gonzalez, which is another email inquiry. If I purchased a holiday apartment in Spain as a non-resident, how long can I stay in the country legally? And then how long until I can return?
Depends on where you're from. Simple as that. Let's assume that this person is from the UK. I'm assuming it's someone from the UK because the question has come up. If you're from the UK, it's a 90-day rule. And we mentioned the Schengen, I can never say it, the Schengen app.
The Schengen.
That Colin mentioned. It is a really good app and you can put it in. Another way that it's a good way to sort of describe it is it's like, okay, Aki, I'm giving you a voucher now. I'm giving you a voucher that lasts for 180 days. That voucher gives you 90 days in Spain. You can use those 90 days until that voucher expires. Once the voucher expires, we'll give you another 180 days with another 90 days within. Does that make sense a little bit?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So you can keep using your 90 days. So one of two things will happen. Your 180 days will run out or your 90 days will run out. But you can use them 90 days throughout that period, coming and going within the 180 days. But totally over a year, 180 days, that's still half a year. It's just spaced out. So as a holiday homeowner, you can still, throughout the year, be in Spain for half the year.
Okay, thank you for that question from Chio Gonzalez. Well, look, we've had an absolutely jam-packed show there, haven't we, really? We've had road trips, we've had happy clients, soaring prices, dream apartments by the sea. I mean, what more could you ask for, really?
Yeah. What would be really good is I know people are sending questions in, which is really, really good, and I love the questions. And the videos are getting like really good views and really good feedback. I think I was telling you pre-video that one of our sales consultants is out with somebody at the moment, and they've been talking to all day about the what's it called? Meet the Crabtrees.
Oh, At Home with the Crabtrees, yeah.
At Home with the Crabtrees, the one that cost me €20 a child to create.
Yeah, well, it was a good day out though, wasn't it?
It was really
showed
good.
A little bit of an insight into your life as somebody who has moved to Spain, and of course you can find that video on the channel, and there will be more coming from At Home with the Crabtrees.
But what would be good is more what people would like from a content point of view as well. The questions are brilliant, but is there any specific guests we would like to get on? I think the plan is to look at maybe solicitors. That'd be a good topic. But if people want to comment and suggest on that, it's something that we can also get organised.
Yeah, if you've just clicked on this, you've not watched it live, you've missed the live, and you've just clicked on this, feel free to leave your comments below. And I must say, guys, strike while the iron's hot. Get in touch with Welcome Estates. They're a family-run business as well. You guys have met all the team. In fact, you've all met all the team if you watch the YouTube channel. They're all there, very friendly and willing to help you. You can check out the website, www.welcome-estates.com. You can also visit the Instagram page. You've got it all. You've got it all there for you, haven't you? So all we've got left to say is thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on this episode of Welcome to the Sun, which is our Costa Blanca online property podcast. And I guess we'll see you next time. And next time, make sure you do tune in, because we're going to tell you all about Alicante Airport and its recent awards. And that's definitely worth tuning in for.
Looking for your dream home in Spain? Costa Blanca offers stunning beaches, year-round sunshine, and a vibrant lifestyle, perfect for your next home or investment. Whether you're buying a seaside villa, a cozy apartment, or a luxury property, Welcome Estates is here to guide you every step of the way. Our team of experts makes the process simple and stress-free, from finding the perfect property to handling all the paperwork. Ready to make Costa Blanca your home? Contact Welcome Estates today at welcome-estates.com, and let's make your dream a reality.